Hello and good evening. My name is Esther Glad. I'm an assistant director here in the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid. And with me today, I have Kelly Sanchez, who will be assisting me with this presentation about financing your education and talking about holds and to-do list items and things of that sort. You may ask questions throughout the presentation in the chat. One of us will try and respond to you as quickly as we can. But like I said, definitely ask your questions. So to begin with, next slide, please, Kelly. Sorry. All right, thank you. So in our previous presentation, if you had attended that, you would have noticed that we have a slide here that indicates the difference between our office, which is the Student Departmental and Account Services, and our office, which is the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid. And like I said, the difference between what we service and how we service students and assisting them with their questions. And here's the grid that breaks it down for you nicely. As you see here on your right-hand side, it's billing and tuition and fees, making payments, processing refunds, payment methods, direct deposits, and budgeting for our student departmental account services. And for our office, it's items such as applying for aid, tuition and expenses, scholarships, grants, loans, and aid deferment. All right. So your LOUIE to-do list. So students, you have accessibility to seeing this now. So if there's any outstanding items, kind of taking a little step back here, our main source of communication is to the student's email account. So that's your NAU email. So we communicate with you primarily through your NAU email, letting you know if there's any outstanding items. However, you can always check directly to your LOUIE to-do list items here as you see displayed. So here's a snapshot of it, and it gives you an idea of what you can see in your LOUIE task, and it will let you know what kind of items you have that are outstanding that you need to complete in order to, for example, get your financial aid, or what items could be holding up your aid from dispersing. And as you see here, we're indicating that failure to complete these tasks can impact your financial aid. So that means disbursement of aid, possibly not being awarded aid. Financial aid may not disperse until all those items on your to-do list account are complete. This could also result in late fees, which of course you don't want to happen. So make sure you're paying attention to any kind of email that you're getting from our office or even student accounts so that you can proceed with getting those tasks done and getting your aid dispersed in a timely manner. And like I said, we have a screenshot here in the middle, and you see the red box that highlights it, indicating where to click on. And then beneath that, it is letting you know where you can see your to-do list on your Student Service Center. Next slide, please. Okay, now a little bit more into details, the larger view of what your LOUIE to-do list looks like. So if you click on the individual items, you will see a full description presented to you that gives you an idea of what it means. So I know this is all abbreviated information that we're requesting, such as DEP family size. What does that mean? Well, we know that means dependent family size for 2024, 2025, but that's an abbreviation on the to-do list item. But when you click on that, you see it's hyperlinked. On the other side of the screen, you'll see the description, and it'll give you the details. And then within that description is also hyperlinked to let you know for to upload your doc, that's where you need to go to do so. So it's providing you guidance on what exactly is missing for each of those individual items. So make sure you are clicking on each of those individual items so you know precisely what to submit to our office. Otherwise, it'll cause a delay in getting you awarded, a delay in getting your aid dispersed, and also communication. So there's times where we might be a little backlogged in getting back to you, but keep in mind, this is a busy time of year for our office, but also we're communicating to you to let you know this is the kind of documentation we need in order to proceed with completing your file so we can award you. Again, failure to complete these items can cause a delay, and most of the items can take up to 25 business days to process once everything is complete in its entirety. Next slide, please. Okay, so you may or may not have been selected for a process called verification. So this is our policy. We even have a QR code there for you to check it out. So this is a federal review policy. It's not institutional. So it's a process that we are obligated to perform for our institution, and there's students that are selected for this process. And of course, this is after you have filed the application for financial aid known as the FAFSA. So students selected for the 2024-2025 verification, you might be required to submit a combination of verification forms, such as your 22 tax return documents. So in the previous slide, we showed you that list of to-do list items. That is a result of a student being what we call flagged for verification documents and the types of documents that need to be submitted to our office in order to complete the file. So every student is different and each will have a specific requirement, including where and how to submit the documentation. And of course, and like I mentioned before in the previous screen and slide, you saw that the to list items listed all those documents that are required in order for us to proceed with completing your file. Next slide, please. All right, so for first-time loan borrowers, you probably also saw this on your to-do list items, more likely your awards when you're accepting your student loans. So if you are a first-time loan borrower and you're taking out your unsubsidized staff loan or your subsidized staff loan, these are some of the items that can be missed aside from accepting the student loan. So you have the process of accepting your loans. Okay, so what's next? As a first-time loan borrower, you are obligated to complete what is called the loan entrance counseling session and the master promissory note. Both of these items will be on your LOUIE to-do list, but can be electronically completed at that studentaid.gov website that you see there. And there's also an example of what it looks like when you get to that website on the left-hand side of this presentation slide. Next slide, please. All right, so talking about being a first-time loan borrower, here we go with the loan types such as the subsidized and unsubsidized staff loan. So I'm sure as a first-time student, first-year student attending university, you're probably wondering what is the difference between the two. So again, these are loans that are awarded to you. You're not obligated to take them out. In the event you may need them, you can definitely apply for these loans. So depending on a student's student aid index number known as the SAI from the FAFSA data that we get, you may be awarded a combination of a subsidized or unsubsidized staffer loan or only an unsubsidized staffer loan. So for your subsidized staffer loan, financial need is required for eligibility. Again, this is based on your SAI. So that helps us as an office to determine what type of loan we can award the student. So the U.S. Department of Education pays interest on the loan while you are enrolled in at least half time. So for our undergraduate students, half time is 6 units. So typically that is 2 classes, but 6 units or above. And then you'll stay within the grace period so that you don't have to start repayment on that loan. Your unsubsidized staffer loan, as a student, you're responsible to pay the interest that is accruing on this loan, what we refer to as the first disbursement, meaning 10 days before the first day of classes is when the first disbursement, aka the first half of your student loan, will post to your account. So after that occurs, that's when interest will accrue. So again, after the first loan disbursement, as I mentioned, and then when it's paid off. So that is accruing. And then 6 months after you graduate, regardless of which loan you take out, whether it be the subsidized loan or the unsubsidized loan that you've accepted while you've been here at NAU, you are required to start repayment on those loans. So for more information, there is a QR code there. I highly suggest you check it out because there's a lot of valuable information when it comes to student loans on that code. All right, so continuing on with the types of loan that we have. So we talked about loans that students become eligible for when they file their FAFSA. So the 2 loans that I just referred to, the subsidized and unsubsidized loan, are awarded to students who apply through the application for student financial aid. So that being said, these are 2 loans that are interest-based. So, that are credit-based. So these are the loans that we can award up to a student's cost of attendance. So the first one I'm going to cover is your private loan. Interest rates, or APR, are charged and they will vary. So that, of course, is between the lending institution you desire to choose. Private education loans, again, are subject to credit approval. So these are based on credit. So NAU does not have a written or implied preferred lender list with any of the lending institutions. It's entirely up to the student or parent to see which one they would like to apply with. Parent loans or graduate plus loans, but in this case, this is for the parents. Some students, you may have noticed on your award letter, you see that there are student loans such as your unsubsidized or subsidized loan awarded But in addition to that, you see the Parent Plus loan. This is a loan, although it's on the student's award offer, it's a loan that the parents can take out if they choose to do so. It is based on credit, as you see here, it's subject to credit approval. So you want to apply at that studentaid.gov website that I mentioned, and there's also a QR code here to assist you with that, because interest rates determined by the Department of Ed. So we don't determine the interest rates on this particular loan. It is by the Department of Education that decides, what the interest rate will be on the Plus loan. Next slide, please. All right, so accepting your loan. So when I talked about the types of items that students need to do in order to get the loan process going, aside from the loan entrance loan entrance counseling session or the promissory note, here's also the way the student accepts their loan. So students, you have accessibility to seeing this fee. This is again in your LOUIE information. And as you see here, you can see the accept decline. And then there's also on that QR code that was on that particular slide, it's also guidance to assist you on how to accept your student loan as well. So awards vary. So here's an example of an unsubsidized loan and then a plus loan as well, where you can accept your loan. It'll give you the status of accepted versus offered and the amount. You can choose how much you would like to accept in either the subsidized or unsubsidized Stafford loan. Again, students, you're not obligated to accept those loans. They're there to assist you in the event you may need additional income to maybe cover the remaining cost of charges on your account or any additional items you need to purchase outside of your charges that are on your LOUIE account. So again, this is a screenshot of what it looks like when you're accepting your student loans. Again, the amount of the award will be on this particular area, but you're not obligated to accept the full amount. Okay, so a little bit of information just in case you might have a tribal affiliation where you are trying to apply for scholarships through your tribe. So this is just an idea of, in the event you see on your to-do list items, the financial needs analysis, that means our office has received the information and we're in the process of trying to complete the document. Students have to keep in mind that most tribes do require FAFSA be filed. A student having been awarded meaning satisfactory academic progress, a particular unit criteria may be needed for the tribe. So it varies from tribe to tribe. So it's again, the tribe is the one that determines the eligibility, but they're asking for information from our office. So in order to provide that, in most cases, as I mentioned before, students must have a FAFSA on file, be awarded, be verified, meaning that the student isn't required, or in the event they are required to submit verification, their file is complete and they're awarded and enrolled full time. So in this particular example, this tribe is asking for the student's cost of attendance, resources. That means what kind of aid the student is receiving. Is this for the academic year or year? And then we provide the information and submit it to the tribe's office. So if there's any students who are present that are part of a tribal affiliation, submit your documentation to scholarships@nau.edu. The financial needs analysis is what this is known as. Submit it to our office so we can complete the needed information and submit it in a timely manner. All right, now I'm going to hand this over to Kelly, who's going to go over Title IV authorization.
Hello. Yeah, so there's another important to-do list item to consider, which is that Title IV authorization item. So Title IV can affect how awards are applied to the student account. And the U.S. Department of Education has regulations known as Title IV that determine what kinds of charges federal awards can apply to. And common Title IV funds include those Pell Grants or those subsidized and unsubsidized loans that Esther was just explaining about, including the Parent Plus loans and Teach Grants. So Title IV authorization will Title IV financial aid will automatically pay to a student's current year institutional charges first. And for this policy, institutional charges are considered the mandatory tuition fees, tuition-related fees, any housing charges that are provided by NAU Campus Living, and meal plan charges provided by campus dining services. So students may not opt out of paying those charges or change the order in which these awards apply to those charges, because it's all very regulated. Students can grant Title IV authorization in the to-do list item, and Title IV authorization allows students to grant permission for these awards to apply to some department charges, such as the transportation fee, and up to $200 of prior aid year charges too. So an academic year, it starts in fall and goes to spring and then also ends in summer. So the next fall is a new academic year. It's important to know that providing authorization will not guarantee that all charges will be paid if you receive a refund. So even with authorization, the tuition payment plan service fee or any late fees are not able to be paid for by these types of loans and federal awards. So we always recommend checking your account after aid is dispersed, and especially after getting a refund, to make sure that all charges are paid, because these regulations can still, cause charges to still be outstanding on the account. It's just always a good habit. Anytime aid is dispersed or a refund is received, double check that account. And another good to-do list item is direct deposit. So refunding for students comes in the form of two options, either as a paper check sent to the mailing address on file, or direct deposit to the direct deposit information on file for a bank account. So direct deposit is the fastest, easiest, most secure way to receive a refund. And with that, you can receive the funds within 2 to 3 business days to the bank account. Without direct deposit, it takes 7 to 10 business days to receive a paper check by mail. So paper check is the default option if there is no direct deposit information on file. And if you choose not to set up direct deposit, it's even more important to make sure that your address information stays up to date on your account. To sign up for direct deposit, you can do that by either selecting the direct deposit to-do list item, or from the LOUIE account, the financial account tile, there's a direct deposit link. And you'll need the bank account and the routing number to get started. And if it doesn't show up right away when you click the link from the financial account tile, check your pop-up blocker. Just if there's no activity, check the pop-up blocker. I can't tell you how many times that's gotten me. But common causes for a refund to go out to a student might include, if a student has financial aid awards more than they have eligible NAU charges on the account, that excess financial aid will be sent out to the students. Or if the parents who borrow a Parent Plus loan, it'll go directly to the parent. And another common reason for a refund is if a student withdraws from a class or drops a class within a certain time frame. If they've already paid it, they may receive a refund for that tuition that was for that class. So each class session has a tuition refund deadline. And more information about tuition refund deadlines can be found on our website by following the QR code. I'll pass that back on over to you, Esther.
All righty, thank you. I am back. Thank you everyone for being here again. All right, so next we're going to talk about holds. Okay, very, very important that, again, I can't stress how important it is to check your NAU email account or any letters that you receive from our office or NAU in general, because it could be asking for you to take additional steps, such as here. A hold that's very popular, here's an example, is the MMR vaccination hold. So if you're receiving a tuition scholarship, that could be the lumberjack presidents, deans, any type of tuition waiver, not having the MMR vaccination sent to our NAU campus health office could delay disbursement of the tuition scholarship that you're awarded. It's a requirement, so please do get that in. So again, failure to submit these required documentations can lead to placements of hold on your account, delayed disbursement, and that aid ultimately, some or all of it not dispersing to your account. So you want to make sure that you're reviewing your LOUIE account in its entirety and fully. And if you have any questions, another thing I can't stress enough is to definitely contact our offices. This is visible on your LOUIE student to-do list, and it includes descriptions. So earlier on, when we were talking about to-do list items and we were going over items such as financial aid type of to-do list items, documentation that you have to submit, you'll see here's another great example of another item that you can view on your LOUIE to-do list is your holds. And as I mentioned before, the MMR vaccination hold and also ability to benefit proof. That is what Kelly went over just a little bit ago. And hyperlink does provide information. As you can see, those red arrows going all over the place here with this neat ability to benefit proof. When you click on that, it's giving you the full description of what is needed and also the contact number. So again, any questions or any information that you may need, definitely click on that hyperlink and then maybe follow through with a phone call in the event you have additional questions. But again, constantly check your LOUIE account, your emails to see if there's any type of communication that we're sending you so you can complete those tasks in a timely manner. Next slide, please. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Ability to benefit is me. I do apologize for that. So Department of Education requires that all students who are receiving federal aid be qualified to study at a collegiate level, meaning that in order to complete this requirement, you do have to have your official high school transcript posted with the graduation date. So if you haven't provided your official high school transcript showing that you have graduated, please do so to and send it to our NAU admissions. As we showed the slide before that, if you do have that outstanding hold and you click on it, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do and who you need to send it to. So this will also allow us to disperse your aid in a timely manner. So again, not doing these kind of holds or not completing them in a timely manner can and may prevent your aid from dispersing. So you want to get that done on time. Again, another type of, aside from your high school transcript, there's also your GED or your recognized homeschooling credential that can suffice these criteria so that, again, you submit this information to the NAU admissions office and it's processed in a timely manner. All right, and so as I mentioned before, MMR vaccination, that's a hold. This is what it looks like. So all new and transfer students are required to provide this type of documentation to our campus health office. So what does that mean? It's the measles, mumps, and rubella hold. So that is a requirement. And again, if you are receiving a tuition type of scholarship, such as the lumberjack deans, presidents, waivers such as that sort, that requires that you fulfill this, criteria so that it can disperse to you in a timely manner. So all students who are born after December 31st, 1956, 12/31/56, that means you need to complete the form that you see here, which is a screenshot of the form that our campus health uses, and submit it to them so that it can complete that requirement. So you can obtain an official copy of your immunization record from your healthcare provider, health department, high school, or previous university. So again, this is information that's provided to you so that you can submit this requirement in a timely manner. So in the event you haven't had your MMR completed, you can get the vaccine on a walk-in basis for free at the medical services here. Next slide, please. All righty, passing it back to Kelly.
Past due balance holds. Yes. Okay. So unpaid charges can result in holds and late fees. A financial hold will be placed on all accounts where the balance is 14 days or more past due. Students with a financial hold may not be able to register for classes or receive refunds. It's important to regularly check your account to make sure you are staying on track of paying your charges on time. So when talking about past due balances, we also must talk about late fees. So late fees are applied to the account monthly for charges that have become 30 days or more past due. However, it's important to keep in mind that before 30 days, unpaid tuition can have more urgent consequences. It can result in automatic enrollment into the tuition payment plan, which comes with a $150 deferred payment fee, or in like summer and winter, possibly enrollment cancellation because of the shorter sessions. So 30 days for most charges, but when it comes to tuition, remember that that has something more urgent for that due date. The amount of the monthly late fee depends on the amount of the past due balance. For example, here, if your past due balance is $150, the late fee would be $25 per month. For more information about past due balances, please check out our website. Okay, and this one is the no refund or wash hold. So you'll see that as SAZ on the task tile. If a student changes their schedule during the first 2 weeks of the semester and it produces a credit on the account, a hold preventing refunds will be automatically applied. The student will see this as the SAZ wash hold in their task tile. So this hold is added when with the anticipation that students will still be making changes to their schedule, and further enrollment changes will affect potentially the charges on the account. If a student changes their schedule, oh, sorry, excuse me, during that certain time, there's an adjustment period before the refund deadline that I mentioned before that could cause that tuition to increase or decrease. And adding and dropping classes can cause that tuition to change. So if the tuition was previously paid, that drop in classes will produce a credit, which we'll want to refund. And then if they then later add classes, they'll have new charges, and we don't want them to be without the money on the account. So that's where this hold comes in, to help put a pause on things and to make sure everyone's done making changes to their schedule. So we don't want to leave someone without funds and potentially to be auto-enrolled or drop from classes. So with that hold, students have a couple of options to address that hold because it is preventing the release of the refund. They can either wait till the 100% refund deadline for the session, which is usually after that 2-week period at the start of the semester, excuse me. Or if they're done making changes to the schedule, you've already met with the advisor, you know everything's finalized now. You can also email our office from the NAU email to our address at sdas@nau.edu, requesting that hold be reviewed for removal. So be sure to include confirmation that you're done making changes to your schedule and just for that request for the hold to be reviewed. You'll need to make sure that your classes for sure are done and set, because if there are any changes later, you would be responsible for those charges on the account. And communication. So this isn't a to-do list item or hold, but it's just really important to talk about. Students NAU email, I did mention the email, but it's the official form of communication with the universities, that NAU email. And so students will need to keep checking that email for real-time communications from departments, especially from the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid and student accounts. We will be sending real-time notifications and things that are usually very time sensitive that need to be completed. And that's the most direct way we have to share that requirement with you, with the student. So it's very important to keep checking that email. It's also the best way to communicate with other departments so that students can be identified and it's more secure communication. If a parent or guardian has a FERPA release on the account, we would not still be able to talk to them to a non-NAU email address. We wouldn't be able to share account-specific information because it's considered not secure. But if they have that FERPA, they can still come in person or call us, and we can talk to them over the phone or in person about the student account, as long as we have that FERPA on file. So the student account is dynamic. It's constantly changing in real time depending on what's happening. So if a student makes a change, maybe adds a class or drops a class, if charges are added, becomes past due, there's an email that's generated anytime those events happen. New charges added, becomes past due, a monthly e-bill is generated, or if they've also been had a refund issued to them. Parents will only receive the monthly e-bill notices. So students are getting real-time communications. Parents, as an authorized payer, can get a monthly e-bill notice at least, which is a snapshot of the account at the time that e-bill is generated. So if someone is helping the student to pay, it's really helpful to add them as an authorized payer in the payment system, which we did address in a previous webinar. So go back and check that out if you haven't seen that. And as that authorized payer, they can look at the account and get those monthly statements. But with the student getting the real-time notices, it's important for them to keep in communication with those who are helping them pay. So if they're going to drop a class, talk to that payer so they're aware and can get that payment in for those new charges if they happen to occur on the account. Okay, so Esther and I, we've shared a lot of information with you today, but you can find all of this information and more on both of our websites. So please take a moment to follow the QR codes to our individual pages, and it's where you can find forms, really important forms, tutorials, even further FAQs about these topics, and much, much more information. So definitely go check it out. And give me a minute there, but also thank you. So thank you for joining us today and taking the time to learn more about holds and to-do list items. With regularly checking your account, you can stay on top of these items. and keep looking at your to-do list items and holds, review them carefully. So that way there's nothing prevented like aid and refunds, any of the important things that we've talked about today. But if you have any questions, please always feel free to reach out to our offices, review these webinars. We are here to help you guys. And I think we have some time to go over some questions today live, right? Let's see if we had anything show up. If anyone has any questions now, you can also enter them in the what was there, like there's the Q&A function, I believe, right, for the webinar.
You can ask your questions in either the chat or the Q&A function.
Perfect.
Yes, so this session will be available for viewing on our NAU Orientation Webinars YouTube channel, and that link has been dropped in the chat for you.
Awesome. And the previous ones are on there too, is that right?
Yes, that is correct. All of the webinars that we've hosted this
Sweet.
summer are all in that same channel. It looks like there is a question in the chat. If I submitted my final transcript and I got a confirmation email, why do I still have it on my to-do list?
All right, so Evelyn, I'm assuming that this is it's a request on your to-do list to submit your transcript. It could be maybe processing time. I do know our admissions office is in a pretty good status in terms of processing, but this is when I talk about processing, is that our admissions office does get a lot of transcripts in around this time. So it's a manual process for them to review and then for them to log. You can definitely follow up with an email, as we mentioned before, in checking. There should be either an email or a phone number listed there in your to-do list items. You could follow up to ensure that they do have your transcript. You are welcome.
Yeah, the sooner the better to submit everything.
Great. Well, if there are no more questions right now, like they mentioned, you can always reach out using this contact information, checking out the website, and this webinar will be available on that NAU Orientations webinar YouTube channel. But other than that, thank you so much to our presenters, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you for joining us.